the stories told of the scientist that told the Wright brothers that it was mathematically impossible for them to fly, to defy the laws of gravity, 14.7 pounds per square inch of pressure, and fly. Math is absolute, it's non-subjective, you can't argue with it. So the Wright brothers believed him. But another scientist came along and said, now, wait a minute. There's been a miscalculation in the math. The dude who was doing the math is not even a real scientist. I am. And there are some variables that are not here that should be. There are some exponents that are here that shouldn't be. And based on my calculation, not only can you can fly a lot easier than you thought you could. The Wright brothers were nearly grounded for listening to someone who didn't know what they were talking about. Some folks told my dear friend Ian Humphreys that he couldn't fly. And it wasn't because of the laws of gravity, but because of the laws of public opinion. The first scientist that tried to convince Ian that he couldn't fly was his foster mother, who used addition in her calculations. She locked him in the closet and beat him, telling him that, Ian, because you are lazy, plus you are nobody, equals you will never be anybody. The second scientist that convinced Ian Humphreys that he couldn't fly was the prison guard. As his life spiraled downhill, leading him to prison at the age of 19. The prison guard used statistics and probability in his math when he said, you'll be back. You're getting out of prison today, but you're 7 times likely to come back. The third scientist who convinced Ian he couldn't fly used calculus in his calculations. It was the employers who wouldn't hire him. They said, there are some variables in your resume. There are some exponents in the application that tells us we can't hire you. And for a while, Ian believed that. Again, math is absolute and it's non-subjective. Until the fourth scientist showed up. God. Who said, Ian, there's been a miscalculation. The folks who's been doing the math aren't even real scientists. I am. Their math is not absolute. I am. They're not sitting in the control tower. I am. Why? Because I am. It's not that you can't fly. It's that I had to wait for the storm to pass before I cleared you for takeoff. Ian grabbed his itinerary. He took off. The flight that landed on a family. The flight that landed on a career. And a flight that traveled to California to tell everybody about it. There was a miscalculation. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what kind of variables people are using at work to calculate you. I don't know what kind of exponents people are using at school to calculate you. I don't know what kind of mathematical formula people around you are using to calculate you. But what I do know is there's been a miscalculation. Because the same individual who created gravity also created you. And he created you with so many variables, so many exponents that are so sophisticated, so complicated that man will never be able to calculate. Therefore, he derived a solution that his plan for you to fly is greater than that of human opinion. Therefore, since man didn't create you in the beginning, he can't judge you in the middle. And since he can't judge you in the middle, he does not have a heaven or hell to put you in at the end. There's been a miscalculation.